College basketball season is in full swing. Feast week is upon us, and there's no one that I like to feast with more than the best feaster I know. Carter Elliott, it's great to be with you. Today, we are going to do something that is just right up our alley. This is like Know Your Personnel 101. We are going to tier college basketball national title contenders. We've got 4 tiers. We've got 5 teams that will fall into each of our 4 tiers, and we will reveal them all throughout this show. I know you're excited, as our entire audience is at home, to see these tiers for the first time because you certainly did not contribute anything to building them as a duo. How are you, Carter? Are you looking forward to this?
I'm very much looking forward to this, and just know that me uplifting you in everyday life as you create tier lists is what makes the greatness of this tier list. And also, I want to pat ourselves on the back. Typically, we like to make this tier list one game into the season, but we showed growth and maturity and waited till it was 4 games into the season where we feel really good about it.
Mm. I look forward to 17 of these 20 teams being hit with well, who have they played yet, Greg, as we go through them one by one. Let's begin with our first tier. We're going to work our way up to the top. So our lowest tier is titled Give Up. I've seen enough. Maybe someone thought you would win a national title. Maybe someone still believes you should win a national title. I don't. I'm out on you. Let's reveal all 5 of our teams in the give up tier at once. Let's get spicy, Cart. Kentucky, Michigan, St. John's, Kansas, and Arkansas. 2 of these teams in action last night. The 2 losing teams in the Champions Classic. You want to go down the list here for me? Maybe starting with the stinkiest of the stinkers here, Kentucky. Why are we giving up on Kentucky?
One thing about title contending teams is you got to believe in who is at the helm of that team that they can win a national title. And this has nothing to do with Kentucky's performances and games this season. This has everything to do with, I think, how their coach is approaching this year, truly. He is on November 19th, as we do this, approaching games as if the world is collapsing that he lost basketball games. He's calling out his team's mentality. He's calling out his team's ability to get ready for big games. Only 4 games into the season, I feel really confident, honestly, thinking that Kentucky should be the poster boy for this tier. I don't think that they're really going anywhere.
Losing in March can crush a man, right? That'll get the best of us. Okay. I don't care how much you are an optimist. I don't care how much you love college basketball. A March loss, that'll send you to some dark places. If every single Kentucky regular season loss is handled like a March Madness loss by their head coach, this man's going to live an entire career in one season. He's going to just spiral. He already is. 1 week into the year, it's crazy. This defense isn't good enough. They're not healthy enough. Even when they get healthy enough, they don't have the guard play to win a national championship. I understand it's early, but truly, I think we've seen enough. This Kentucky team is not the $22 million roster it was billed as. Trent Noah was supposed to be the best shooter we've ever seen. He's barely even playing. I'm out. And I don't think it's too early to condemn the Wildcats off of winning a national championship. You said you have to trust the guy at the helm. I think that could apply to 3 more teams here, not in coaching sense, but you've got to trust the guy running the show. I don't trust Elliott Cadeau from Michigan. I don't think St. John's has a point guard. I don't trust that situation. And Kansas's point guard, who should be trusted, is in street clothes, worried about his NBA draft status. For that reason, we can cross Michigan, St. John's, and Kansas off the national title mix for me as well.
Yeah, and look, those teams have talented players. I think that St. John's and Michigan are 2 of the top 3 or 5 front courts in college basketball. But they have guard play questions. And Greg, I'm sorry that we got to do this, but what wins in March?
A lot of things, but guard play wins in March.
Guard play wins in March. And I'm looking at Elliott Cadeau, and I'm looking at Ian Jackson, and what is it, Dylan Darling? That's just not good enough guard play. And I should be looking at Darren Peterson, but I'm looking at Melvin Council. It's just not good enough.
Yeah, and now I understand Darren could just like snap his fingers and decide he likes basketball again by March. Hopefully that happens, but I don't think the vibes are good enough for this Kansas team. I don't think a superstar that is clearly prioritizing some other things right now is going to be the best thing for a Bill Self locker room. We've seen those implode in past seasons. I was impressed with Kansas's role players putting up a fight against Duke, but man, they didn't even cover the spread in that game. And if we're treating that like a proud performance, I'm out on this Jayhawks team. I don't think it's too early. The last team from this group that we are giving up on this early almost lost to Winthrop last night. Needed a 6 point burst in the final minute to avoid a loss at home. It's the Arkansas Razorbacks. Darius Acuff and Malik Thomas are young. They're talented. But is there enough here outside of those two for you to consider Arkansas a real contender?
So look, I'm willing to be in a toxic relationship with Arkansas basketball throughout the year because of those two young guards and how dynamic they are and some of the other pieces they have on this team. But right now, I would put them in this category given how they can be a little bit inconsistent, right? It looks like John Calipari is still trying to find the right buttons to press with this team, put this team in the right spot. And as good as Malik Thomas and Darius Acuff are, I worry about their shot selection. And I think that shot selection might actually kind of doom them in March, which I think could hurt them. I don't mean to flip this on you, Greg, but if you had to pick one of these teams in the give up tier to make their way out of the give up tier, which one would it be? Because it would be Arkansas for me.
Did you just host?
Listen, if Ian's going to give us this great graphic with moving question mark signs, I feel like I got to be more than I'm usually billed to be.
Dog, I feel like Mark Pope watching Michigan State make 50% of their threes. You're not supposed to do that, but that was special. I think to call this homerism, I'm going to say it's Michigan. Look, I am perfectly fine writing them off as a title contender now. That's how they end up in the give up tier. What I would say is this: they're the one team out of this group of five that in a game that counts, we have seen perfection from. And I understand competition caveats apply. They hung 123 points on Oakland and genuinely looked like the best team in the country. They need to find that again, but we have not seen that level of play of any of the other four.
Fair to say?
Who's yours?
You know what? I was impressed with Kansas enough last night that if Darren Peterson does find that love again, I think they could get out of here.
So if Kansas's star player decides he loves basketball, we could be back in on Kansas.
Put on his jersey instead of putting on his warm up, and I'm back in.
Got it. The warm-up looks nice, though.
It is a nice warm-up.
It's a nice warm-up. Let's check in with the chat. This is an interactive live show. We want to take your questions and comments throughout the program. We start with Rickest Mortys. Rickest has been everywhere in the sleepers world lately, by the way. Shout out to Rickest. Carter has been special all season, unlike Kansas.
Yeah, that's dangerous. I'm usually a late bloomer in everything that I do. So me being this dialed in early, honestly, probably awful for my chances as I move through this year.
Yeah, you never know. Just stay low and build. I believe in you. Shining Octopus says Darren Peterson would have taken Kansas past Duke had he been healthy. Yes.
Whoa. That's it?
Well, like, that's my issue with Kansas, right? Like, he's right. They would be really good if their best player played.
But he needs to play.
He doesn't seem to be all that interested in playing currently.
Give him a new hamstring and maybe we'll be back in.
Hopefully so. If new hamstrings could just be snatched from the heavens, I would like Kansas a lot. Hayden says NC State honestly could be more of a contender over Arkansas. Hayden seems to be assuming that NC State's not going to appear further up the contender list. Do you want to spoil anything on NC State?
No, but I think that's exactly why NC State is not on the list because that's how they're operating currently.
What do you mean?
That they think they should be on over Arkansas on the contender tier.
Well, maybe if Hubert Davis had played Van Allen Lubin and if Tom Izzo had trusted Trey Holloman more, then maybe NC State would be on the title contender list.
You'll get there in due time, Will Wade. Don't jump the gun.
One day at a time, baby. Okay, up the list we go to our second tier. This one is titled Give It Some Time. We're not giving up, but they're not ready yet. Give it some time. Some things can shift. Let's reveal all 5 teams in the Give It Some Time tier. Hey, that's your team. Michigan State, Alabama, North Carolina, BYU, and Texas Tech. Where do you want to start here? Why don't we start with your Spartans?
Let's go ahead and start with my Spartans because when you're looking at some of these teams on the Give It Some Time tier list, I think you might constitute Michigan State as the least talented roster of all those other teams. But I think that Tom Izzo has the personnel that he likes. He has a team that defends at a high level. They are old. They have played a good amount of basketball together, and they're ready for all the smoke at every turn. They will play anybody, anytime, anywhere. And if you're not ready to play and you underestimate them because you look at this team and yes, That is Jackson Kohler you're looking at. Yes, that guy is good. And yes, he wears double armbands and has a haircut that looks like he goes to Supercuts. That guy can give you 15 and 11. And you got to be prepared to play that team. You got to be prepared to play Jeremy Fears. And if this team is able to knock down shots, which they won't, by the way, but God forbid they hit 7 of them, they're going to give themselves chances to win basketball games.
So I have an answer to this, but I want to ask you first. This is the give it some time tier. I think all the other four teams have pretty obvious things to point to of like, this could improve. This is what's going to get better. You just said the shooting's not going to get better. So what are we giving some time for Michigan State?
Nothing, to be honest.
So you don't have an answer for what we're giving some time?
If I contributed to anything, they would be this is the year.
Okay, you want to bump them up to the very top title contender.
At minimum, we're in the mix with it.
All right, got it. Here's what I'm giving some time for with Michigan State. It's the only one in this tier that isn't about something on their roster. We need to give it some time for every other team in the country to decide they're too tired to deal with Michigan State. Because that's what Michigan State is. Over a 40-minute basketball game, every game, they did it to Arkansas, they did it to Kentucky, they just wear you down until you submit. That's the Tom Izzo formula. You have to be ready for the smoke for 40 minutes, and point blank, it's how you won a Big Ten title last year. The entire Big Ten conference was like, we don't want to deal with that. Shit. Like, it genuinely might happen at the highest level. You guys are tough as nails. This team is fun to watch, but no, I don't think there's anything that's going to elevate on this Michigan State team. It's just simply, can they wear everybody else down? I think they might be able to. We'll have to wait and see. Let's look elsewhere in this tier, though, because I do think the rest of the four teams in this tier have some things that could develop, that could take them from very good to, oh my goodness, we could win a national title. Who's the biggest team that you think that applies to in this tier beyond Michigan State?
I think I'm going to catch you off guard a little bit here, Greg. I think it might be North Carolina.
Ooh, talk to me.
Have we discussed the fact that we want to throw out a bunch of comps for Caleb Wilson, and I think it's disrespectful to call him Marvin Williams? Greg, I'm sorry I'm doing this to you. I wanted to unveil this to you in private, but I'd like to do this here. There's a world where Caleb Wilson is Giannis.
Oh,
I'm sorry, man. There's a world where he is. Look, maybe he's not 6'11" Greek freak god like Giannis, but he's the ultimate competitor on both ends. He's super athletic. His game's developing, and I think he's got a will and a want to destroy people. And if North Carolina can get some good senior guard play out of Seth Trimble without letting equipment break his arm in the weight room, I think this team has enough at the guard spot and in the front court with players like Vasar. Combine that with a superstar player in Caleb Wilson, who currently is the best freshman probably in the ACC conference, either him or Michael Brown. And I think you got a recipe that they could get themselves in the mix.
And there's a world where you're John B. from Outer Banks. That's the level comp you just gave me. Giannis?
Yeah, Antetokounmpo.
What about Giannis is similar to Caleb Wilson?
Two-way freak athlete monster competitors.
Giannis is like 7'3" in heels.
I just called him a 6'10" Giannis.
That's you. If you take away the 7-foot part of Giannis, he's not Giannis.
Yeah, he is. He's just not a 7-foot Giannis.
I love Caleb Wilson, but that's one of the craziest things I've ever heard. I guess I'll let it slide because we have to act like North Carolina could. Like if Caleb Wilson becomes Giannis, then yeah, this is the year. Give it some time.
There you go.
Oh, good Lord, man. Okay, outside of Carolina and Michigan State, Texas Tech, BYU, and Alabama. We go back and forth on BYU. Alabama's, I think, earned our attention and worked their way into this list. And then Texas Tech is your team. You still have to convince me of them. But which one of those three has the highest ceiling as we give it more time?
Texas Tech, for sure. Because I think they could, at their peak, they have the best duo in the sport.
Okay.
That's all it really is to it. I think that's enough to be in the mix. Combine that with players around them that I think can shoot the ball extremely well. Atwell, Lawan Watts is a lot better than people give that team credit for. I think they had a really bad half against Illinois in that first half. I think they know they can play better. I think they can play better. But when you look at the ceiling of Texas Tech, Christian Anderson and JT Toppin could be the best duo in all of college basketball. And sometimes that's all it takes.
I think that's fair. I also think a lot of teams are going to have a bad half against Illinois. More on that team to come later in the program. Give me BYU for highest ceiling. They need to get healthy, and they need their players to put down the drugs. But if they do that, then I think they have a pretty good chance of clicking in March. Long way away from where they are. But last year's BYU team was a long way away from what they became in November. By March, we shall see. Let's check back in with the chat. Jake Fox is up first, who says, shit, Arkansas needs to be in the mix. Only issue is shooting.
Don't you? Isn't shooting part of basketball?
Shit. Yeah, it is.
Yeah, what about this? Shit, y'all was on the ropes against Winthrop.
Pretty crazy. It really was. Chance You Take says Jeremy Fears is a problem per pure point guard who looked to be in complete control last night.
Are you talking about my point guard? Yeah, he controlled the show, man. That's all that is. The floor general, floor general.
He did. He flopped less than he has in any game in his career last night, too, which I appreciated. People don't really pay attention to this. I've been screaming it, so maybe people will start to pay attention to it. Jeremy Fears has more assists through 52 games of his career than Braden Smith did at the same point in his career. Braden Smith is about to break the NCAA's all-time assist record. Jeremy Fears is going to end up playing 30 more games than Braden Smith did because of his extra year of eligibility from the gunshot injury. If he just stays healthy, he's literally going to break the NCAA record for assists like by a lot, and nobody realizes it.
Top two passer in the sport.
It's crazy, it really is. Jake Fox says, I don't know how we blow out Kentucky then in a give time.
Well, because I think we blew out a team that's broken. I think a lot of mentally tough teams could have blew out Kentucky last night. That's why we're going to give it some time.
Yeah. There's also like only 10 spots ahead of Michigan State here.
Yeah, like, well, the thing's happening, Greg.
What's the thing we're doing?
Oh, this is why it's bad when Michigan State does this. We do the whole "why aren't we here" thing.
Yeah, I don't think we have to anoint Michigan State fifth best team in the country because they beat Kentucky right now.
Literally 48 hours ago, we wouldn't even sniff this graphic. So give it time is slapping.
Baby steps. Shining Octopus says Henry Vasar needs to add more muscle to his frame.
All right, I'd like to move them down to give up.
If that's what we're waiting on.
If that's the angle we're going and that's what we're waiting on, I'd like to bump them down.
Yeah, that feels right to me. Okay, time to get into our second highest tier here. It's called We're in the Mix, which essentially means I think this team could win a national championship without much changing, but maybe they don't necessarily expect to win a national championship this year. We're going to reveal these one by one, starting with the Arizona Wildcats.
Hey, look, Arizona quietly, and as we do this video, they play UConn tonight. They're building a hell of a resume thus far, G. And they're doing it a lot of different ways. Like they've had the Koa Pete game. They've also had their senior point guard, Jaden Bradley, step up in big spots. Anthony Del Orso, the transfer from Campbell, making a year 2 jump, adding a beard and 25 pounds of muscle this offseason. And what have we been saying about Arizona and Tommy Lloyd? Like probably the last summer or at least the last year, Gregory. He's one of the coaches who's on the cusp. Like he's one of the coaches we believe is eventually going to get over that hump, make a Final Four, get to that point. I think that's one of the coaches that could do it. I think he has a great team to do so this year.
There's a not so distant world where Tommy Lloyd just wins his first national title, and all of a sudden we look at him the same way we look at like Todd Golden. It's really not that far off. I like this team a lot. The thing that I like most, and the biggest reason I believe they can win a national title, is because of their poise. You think back to that Florida game, they got blitzed. They were down 10 early against the defending national champs. They just took the punch and punched right back and won the game. I think you saw the same thing against UCLA, kind of an up and down, rocky shooting game. UCLA was shooting 52% from three, and they found a way to win anyway. I just like the mental toughness of this team, a very young team. The thing that they need is they need Braden Burries to be a guy. He has really struggled in their big 2 games, and without him being a legitimate threat, I don't think they have the firepower offensively to get this done. But people say they still believe Burries is that. It's just a small sample size. So I think as currently constructed, they can do it. I will not be surprised, but I don't know if anyone in Arizona's fan base is expecting it to come to fruition necessarily this year. Let's move to the second team in the We're the Mix category. It's your team. Can I get an L up for the Louisville Cardinals?
Maybe one of the most potent backcourts and offenses in the sport. They deserve to be in this spot just for the fact that how many games do you have to win a national championship, Greg? Was it 8?
You have to really?
What is it?
You don't know how many wins you need to win a national championship in the NCAA tournament?
I take it day by day. Is it six?
It's six more than Pat Kelsey's ever won tournament games.
It's going to be so hard to beat a backcourt of Ryan Conwell and Michael Brown on a game-to-game basis. And I think that that backcourt alone in six straight games can give you a combined 50 or 60 points, and you find yourself in a spot where you're not able to deal with that.
You're right. You're right. Yeah. Let me can I hit you with a Louisville concern that I don't think anybody's talking about?
Yeah.
They only beat Kentucky by 8.
At home too.
I thought Kentucky was dead in the water. I thought they were an emotionally shattered basketball team. Shouldn't a real national title contender blitz that team and leave no doubt?
Probably why we should switch Louisville and Michigan State, huh?
Well, Michigan State got a 17-point win. Louisville was up 20 in the first half before a spirited comeback from Kentucky.
Yeah. The reason they're not this is the year is because of the same reason they're great. It's also the same reason that they could lose first round.
Volatility?
Volatility
Wow.
with a capital Y.
That's not how you spell volatility. Okay, moving down the list in the mix. From your favorite non-Michigan State team to my favorite non-Michigan team, ILL. Let's get balking with it. The Illinois Fighting Illini are good enough to do this. Genuinely. If we were just listing basketball players, personnel rosters that are worthy of winning a national title this year, Illinois would be third on my list. It really would be. Outside of Purdue and Houston, no spoilers, but outside of the two favorites in this sport, it's Illinois for me. This is the best team I've seen. In fact, I think they're better. I think they're more potent as a team on both ends of the floor than Purdue is. The big question is the question every year with Illinois. Can they just stay sane? Are these psychopaths, this youth, the two freshmen, Wagler and Merkovich, all of the international players on this team, are they going to be able to play a 35-game season and keep their heads on straight? It's sometimes chaotic evil with Illinois locker rooms. This year feels like chaotic good. And Brad Underwood feels energized by it, and I like it. Brad's never been to a Final Four, but if you had to ask me right now, I would say this is the year he gets across that hump.
Yeah, and they're in the mix too, doing this all with basically out their best player in Thomas Slavovicic so far this year. They're a mismatch, man. They have so much size, so much skill at every position. It's just a really, really tough team to check. And honestly, Illinois could probably even be in the this is the year category, but right now it's all about staying healthy for them.
Yeah, it's honestly reminiscent of freshman year of college U. They're too big, but too fun, and no one knows what to do with it.
You feel better about yourself?
Is that not an apt description of you? You were big and fun.
How dare you call me big?
You're fun.
I am fun.
I'm just saying. Okay, moving on. Next team in the mix. I don't know how you're going to feel about this one, but I think they're very deserving of this. I think Gonzaga's in the mix this year.
Good on you, Gregory, as you should do. Look, it is fun sometimes to act like Gonzaga isn't in the mix. Like, oh, they're just so good. They're just merchants of playing small. No, this team, if you have not had a chance to watch them this year, they are nasty. They are nasty. EK and Huff is one of the best front courts in the sport. They also did a great job, I think, of going out and getting some really good guards. Saint Superi has been really good for them. Grant Foster's been like this athletic bench piece that's been really good for them as well. Steel Venters is finally back healthy. My name's Carter Elliott. I'm scared of Gonzaga. I haven't said that in a while, but I'm here to say it in an open space, in an open forum. Be a little bit vulnerable, not in a Mark Pope sense, but just in a sense of this room, that I am scared of the Gonzaga Bulldogs.
Wowzers. The thing I like about this Gonzaga team is this. I think their defense is elite, and I don't think anybody realizes it. And Gonzaga is a program outside of the Chet Holmgren year, obviously, and maybe you could lump the Drew Timmy, Jalen Suggs years into this as well. But I think they don't get the credit they deserve sometimes because people assume they're just beating up on nobodies. They really have to do their work in non-conference play. It's been a couple just solid years for Gonzaga. They haven't even won the WCC a couple years. This year's team is different because they are elite defensively. I mean, we're coming off 3 years. Gonzaga defensively has finished 73rd, 51st, 29th in the country. This year's team is third in defensive efficiency right now. And you go through the history books, the years that Mark Few has had the most success in March has been the years with elite defenses. His first national title appearance, they had the number one defense in the country. I think with all the size, all the athleticism on the wings that this team has, Jalen Warley, Tyon Grant Foster, Adam Miller, Saint Superi, they're huge and they're tough and they're going to just swarm and overwhelm teams. I encourage people to watch Gonzaga because I think they're closer to a one seed in the NCAA tournament this year than they are what they've been the last 3 seasons. Last and not least in the mix tier is another one I think might surprise people or surprise you that I'm including them here. I think Iowa State belongs in the mix this year. It's the same core group. Taman Lipsey, Justin Jefferson, or excuse me, Joshua Jefferson, and Milan Momcilovic, who I think last year everybody thought was a national title contender. They didn't live up to expectations. The Big 12 gauntlet kind of got to them. They had some injury concerns in the middle of the year. Now everyone's written off that core group. We talked to them at Big 12 Media Day, Cart. We looked to each other the moment they left, and we were like, people are sleeping on that team. They've taken care of business through 4 games. I think they look the part of a title contender.
Sometimes there's lore in having a good core. And that's what Iowa State has. And I'll never say lore in a good core ever again. Don't ever let me say that ever again. But Taman Lipsey is one of the best and most underrated point guards in the country. Momcilovic looks ready to take that next step. You've been waiting on it for years. I think he's ready to step into that role. He's going to do really well in that role. Joshua Jefferson, good last year, but all year 2 transfer stock is with him and with that team. And also TJ Otzelberger wears small polos with big biceps. And that gives him a really safe floor on what his teams are going to be. And I think that he's going to be able to be another really, really good team this year. And they're going to sneak up on people. Eventually, you're going to have to, I think, take a longer look at this Iowa State basketball team.
Yeah, when Otz finds out what True Classic t-shirts are, the world will come crashing down. Let's check back in with the chat. F020 says UConn, Arizona will determine a lot tonight.
It won't determine a lot tonight. That's the thing. And I don't mean to put you in this box, 20, but not every November game is life or death, man. Whoever loses this game, their coach is not going to go to the podium crying like Mark Pope. They're going to act like they should be in a higher tier, and it's going to be okay.
Mark Pope really got to you. It's hilarious. Drew P3 says, what do you guys think about Iowa this year? They look tough. They have my attention.
They definitely have my attention because I think that they have a star player and then a roster built to just uplift that star player and a coach that wants to do everything for his star player. We got something for that, though. And I say we as the Big Ten Conference.
That's funny. I think there's a world McCollum is basketball Signetti, but also this is a national title contender conversation, and no team with a star named Bennett is going to win a national championship. Bruce Pearls Burner says the Zags are legit. Ken Pom loves them.
He doesn't love them more than I do. How about that?
Yeah, but who have they played, Cart?
Arizona State's good at Arizona State. True road game.
Who have they played? Arizona State's good now. Come on.
I haven't. I said it's a true road game.
Into our final tier. This is the year. Here's the difference. These are teams that should win a national title if you ask anyone associated with the program. Head coach, players, fans, strength coach, nutritionists, anybody, janitors will tell you, hey, this is our year. We start with the obvious one, Cart. It is the Purdue Boilermakers.
The Final Four is in the state of Indiana. They have the best player in the country in Braden Smith. They have, if not the best, the top 3 post player in the sport in Trey Kaufman-Renn. And now they have pieces around them. Omer Meyer's been playing a lot better. Fletcher Lawyer's the best shooter in the country. This Purdue team is all the way strapped up to make another run, and they should firmly be in the title contender picture.
Yeah, they're all the way strapped up for the title run. It's got you all the way bricked up watching it. I think this team's incredible. Trey Kaufman-Renn has gone from a mediocre rebounder to literally the number 1 rebounder in the country through 4 games. That's insane. I don't know what to do with it, but I know this. They're not running from the smoke. They've told anyone who will listen, this is our year. It's national title or bust, and they're backing it up as they sit at the number 1 team, number 1 spot that they vacated back in number 1 after that Alabama win. Next on the list, another team that is no surprise whatsoever to see, the Houston Cougars. They briefly took the number 1 spot in the poll from Purdue. They're back to 2. I think that's the right spot for Houston right now, but I'm sure Kelvin Sampson would tell you this is the year.
So Houston was in the national title game last year, and I just like for everyone to listen to me when I say this clearly. I'm going to give a direct look at the camera. If you haven't seen Houston's freshmen, I highly recommend tuning in and checking them out. They are nasty. Kingston Flemings, nasty. Chris Sinak, nasty. Isaiah Harwell, bench player, also nasty. This team is really, really good. Kelvin Sampson is one of the best coaches in the sport. You know they're going to defend at a very high level. Now they're looking a lot better offensively. Yes, they've had some iffy games here or there, but let's not get it twisted, Greg. We've done this for a long time. Houston basketball wins. The Big 12 runs through Houston. It runs through Kelvin Sampson. And this might be the best roster that Kelvin Sampson has had in his time at Houston, in my opinion. I think they're going to be firmly in the picture.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think it's the most talented team Sampson's had. And with less talented teams, he's been spitting out the number one team on KenPom in like 5 of the last 6 years. It's only a matter of time before he wins it. He got there last year. Nothing could change from Houston believing this is the year this season. 3 more here, and I bet people could probably guess them. But third on the list is the UConn Huskies. I think Dan Hurley could take 7 accountants and he would still think that this is the year. He believes in his coaching acumen that much. The good news for UConn fans is that they have like 5 NBA players on the court this year, not 5 accountants. I was really impressed against BYU. I thought the real version of UConn was the team that built the 20-point halftime lead, not the team that, almost flirted with blowing the 20-point halftime lead. Do you agree with me?
100%. Hurley's a competitor. He's a winner. He's an author. I think he's just a coach that can do great things, truly. And I think that last year it was a roster issue. Dan Hurley knew it was a roster issue. And you want to know what he did, Greg? He went on and fixed the roster. He fixed it. He's having fun again. He looks younger than he's ever looked. He's going to have a really good year. UConn is built to win a national championship this year, especially when they get Braylon Mullins back, who's probably one of the best freshman scorer that's coming in this season.
Yeah, last year Dan Hurley had Terrace Reed in his front court and said, "We're not good enough." And then this year he has Terrace Reed in his front court and he said, "We fixed our roster." And it's because Terrace Reed got a lot better. I'd love to make more jokes about that, but I can't. He looks like a monster right now. UConn can absolutely win the title, and they will tell you they should. 2 teams left. You might be able to debate if they actually should be in the This Is the Year tier, but I think they should be, starting with the defending champs. The Gator boys want to stay hot. That's a phrase for a reason. They've got to be in this tier cart.
Yeah, but do the guards know they got to stay hot? That's the one thing that's really scaring me thus far, the guard play. But the front court's been incredible, and I put Thomas Hogg in the front court kind of box here. Thomas Hogg's been their best player. Alex Conn has also been really good this season. So is Ruben Chinyelu. They have a really good front court. Boogie Flan and Xavier Lee are scaring me. They're scaring me a little bit here, but it's early. They can get it together. They're talented enough to do so. And I think Todd Golden is still the coach to get the most out of those guys. And as long as he's doing that by March, the Gator boys can certainly stay hot and win a national championship.
Yeah, they got my dog Hog, my man's Fland, and my G Lee. I think they're going to be fine. They're my guys. Now,
What?
the guards have been bad. They've been bad, but they're going to be okay. And even if they're not okay, Thomas Hogg and Alice Condon are going to look them in the eyes and be like, "I got us." They're massive. Their numbers are insane. They're both averaging like 18, 10, and 3 right now. It's the best front court in the sport. I know I thought Michigan's was. I was wrong. Hand up. It's not. And as long as one of these guards get going by March, they can win a title. Also, even if they don't get going, though, like the entire program is going to approach this like they should win a title and not tolerate the fact that the cards aren't where they need to be. So I have that much respect for what Todd Golden's doing right now. You've got to have them here. The last team in this tier is probably the most debatable spot on this list, but I believe that Duke would tell you this is the year. They have the winningest freshman in the history of college basketball. Cam Boozer has won more than any prep basketball player in American history. He's been sensational, no matter how much you want to deny this. More importantly than this, it's Duke, even if there are questions in the backcourt or on other spots on this team. I don't think Duke ever approaches a season where it's not the year to win a national title. And most importantly, Shire got over the hump. He's been quietly progressing in March. It's year 4 of John Shire. Steps in the right direction would tell you. We made a Final Four last year. We replaced Cooper Flagg with Cam Boozer. We should probably make a national title run this year. You're going to disagree with this, aren't you?
Yeah, let's play a similarity game here. What's the similarity between Cam Boozer at the rim and me with New Year's resolutions?
You, I don't know. You don't do them?
Can't finish. That's the
Ah,
issue here. Look, I think that they've been very, very, very impressive in their games against lower level mid-major opponents. I've been unimpressed in the two games with Texas and Kansas, to be honest with you. Kansas didn't have their best player. I wasn't impressed. Texas is coached by Sean Miller. I certainly wasn't impressed. I'm in wait and see mode with this Duke team. I think they're incredible defensively, and I get it. Keep singing the praises of Cam Boozer and how he's won at every other level. I agree. That's fine. I just don't see Final Four team with them. I'm sorry.
okay. I'll see your Cam Boozer analogy and raise you one. What's the similarity between Cam Boozer against lesser opponents and me when my wife doesn't take the pill?
Fertile?
He can finish. I think that Cam's going to be fine. I think this is all small sample size stuff right now, and I think if we're being honest about it, we're saying it's a competition based thing. There is no competition. Even good front courts are no match for Cam Boozer. He's still posting double doubles, even though he's been a little inefficient in small sample sizes.
That's a bar.
Thank you. Let's get to the chat and then we will review our work. Bama76 says Braden Smith is not the best player in the country.
He sure as hell took your team and threw him over his knee and spanked that ass in Tuscaloosa.
Yeah, wait. So the guy that had 29, 7, and 4 in a road win against your team isn't the best player in the country?
He adopted your backcourt for fun.
Yeah, that's crazy. Hopefully LeBaron's been a good boy this year and gets Christmas presents from the Smith family. Mason Miller says, is there a team not on the list that could sneak in there?
Ooh, interesting. I'm gonna say Tennessee, just because I believe in Gillespie and Ament and Rick Barnes eventually getting there.
I'm going to throw a Wisconsin shout out here.
I
I
like
think
that.
nobody's talking about Boyd and Blackwell. Also, kind of funny, Mason Miller asked that question. You don't want to give your Creighton boys some love?
That's not the actual Mason, is it?
Might be. Klein says Michigan will rise. They just need to gel.
All right, DK. Oh, they spell Klein that way. They just got to get better. That's the thing. I think they got to get better from the guard spot, and then I believe it. So yeah, they could rise.
Yeah, sometimes you want something to rise with gel, but sometimes there's just some dysfunction. I think there's a little dysfunction in the Michigan locker room right now. Ben Udine says if Florida's guards can get to good, not even great, they're going to be a serious problem.
Golden's the coach to do it, so I believe in it. That's why they're in the tier they're in.
Yeah, I agree. Blue Devil 1523 says Duke relying on the three ball way too much. I don't hate that formula for what it's worth. Just shoot a bunch of threes and let Cam Boozer chase rebounds.
Yeah, the shot selection was a little iffy last night. You got to admit.
Yeah, I thought Kansas guarded well, though.
That's fair.
Yeah. Okay. You know what? We've got some polls cooking right now. Let's kind of go through these together. Should Arizona be a tier lower? 92% say absolutely not.
The 92 percenters coming in clutch.
Yeah, I like that. I feel like most of these have been high approval ratings. Should Michigan State be a tier higher than what was the tier they were in? Basically, wait and see.
Wait and see.
71% say no. You're in the 29%.
So y'all can see my Twitter name right up here. I need that 71% to come see me. Hit my DMs.
Louisville just right. 71% say we nailed it. Are we getting thumbs up today?
What's up with our approval rating lately?
I don't know, but it's fun when people say nice things.
Y'all got me blushing. I feel good about these polls. It's making my poll feel good.
Yeah, 58% think BYU's right where they belong to. You know what? Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, because I'm going to be all smitten and I'm going to go and be like, this is a fun day at work. I enjoyed it. Carter, should I compliment you before we get out of here to like pay the good karma off?
Sure, why not?
Okay. I really admire the father and the friend that you are.
Wow, that means a lot to me. Our producer's built like an iPad Nano.
You get the final word as always, my friend. We are Sleepers Media. If you want more from us, we do roughly 12 hours of content a day every single weekday at Sleepers Media, where you can find podcasts, game recaps, previews, and more. The final word is yours.
Listen, Feast Week is upon us. It's about family, it's about good food, but make sure y'all tune into some great hoop. That's all I got to say. It's going to be a great week.
Nothing you love more than Feast Week. We'll see you next week, everybody.
Talking about in it.